aka Padders. You guys know it. Another known as Peter A DeLuca. That's this guy here. Comic book hobbyist. I feel like I have to define that now every time I launch a stream. I'm not a comic book professional. I would never, ever, even if like IDW, Boom, the big two, Image Comics, all of crowdfunding, if they all hired me, I still wouldn't call myself a comic book artist. I comic book illustrator. I'm a hobbyist. My goal always is to get as best as I can. I just want to get as best as I can. And if that involves getting published along the way, so be it. So welcome to G.I. Joe. We're still working on Big Boa. This is a pre-recorded session. I'm somewhat also doubling in testing my new camera. We had a camera failure a couple days ago. I had a rush order one. We were using my spare leftover one, and this is actually from my office. I keep one of these here in case I have to deploy it, ship it, or drop it off. But no, we had a backup. We got the new camera. I'm gearing up for a Long Beach Island vacation for Labor Day. Guys, I love Labor Day. Labor Day is like my third favorite holiday. Number one being Flag Day. You guys all knew that. So we got to do some pre-recordings because, we're still kind of like doing a lot of things. This week, hopefully, I would have been live 2 or 3 times this week by the time you guys see this. What's my intent of being live? I don't know. I just want to hang out with all of you, share some cool ideas. And everything with this Art of G.I. Joe series is we're taking characters that are hated in G.I. Joe lore, hated in the G.I. Joe canon, and we're adding our own ideas, our own flavor. We're just adding to it. We're as Walt Disney would say, we're plussing it out. Now, some of it could be more detailed artwork. Some of it could be this. Some of it could be that. I would say like everything with Big Boa here this is just a sketch, and we might like light box it, and I might redraw it because number one, I'm okay with his pose, like in this area, like from here, like this area of his pose. I feel like his fists should be coming a little bit more towards the viewer, and I think his size needs to shrink a little bit. He's a little too hulkish, a little too big of a character. The trap here, right? Or like this is almost like the rhomboid. The trap needs to cut into the rhomboid. So this line here is completely incorrect. So if you pop in and leave a comment, I guess that's my long way of saying that. I may not be available. And previously, like we're just streaming a lot of different things. We're working on a ton of different projects. Just getting into the full swing of all of it. So we're going to do some traditional comic book inking, if that's even a thing. Let's get some lights. Cheers. Good morning to all of you. I love the idea of working on like cartoon projects for Saturday morning. I just think that's one of the most funnest things I can do. I'm not this camera, by the way. This camera is a monster. It's like I use these like hockey puck ones, and the thing is a beast. And I'm wearing my hat. Maybe I should flip my hat backwards. I'm wearing my Flyers hat today, by the way, guys. So the proximity of it all, I don't have the instincts for it yet. I'm not trained. I haven't trained myself. So I might hit the camera a few times. And if I do, I apologize. But yeah, it's wild. I got into the idea of stockpiling a couple streams so I could drop them for all of you. And once that idea solidified, I literally just in real time just fell in love with like, wow, like let's just stockpile a bunch of streams, and then I can always kind of hang out with my AKA padders. And I got that idea while I was in New York around July, because we were in New York for my birthday and my fiance's birthday. So leading into that trip, I was recording some Halo work, some sketchbook work. So like there's a little bit of a catalog now. So the goal was to get some of that going before we jumped back into the into the actual live streams. Yeah, I guys, aka Powders, I love the technology. I love the availability. I think doing these shows, I do feel like we inspire people. We get people going. I think it's important. I really do. And it's important to realize that, like, I'm not the guy trying to be like the next Rob Liefeld or Jim Lee or Tom McFarlane. Like, I kind of have a job, I have a career, I have direction, all that stuff. But the goal is to keep going and get good with something. I don't know why people think you need like monetary gain for such a thing. Like, why you need monetary gain to get good with something? Isn't that crazy? Like, once you think about it. So the day I'm recording this too, I'm not joking, aka Powders. My entire desk here is absolute chaos. This is the worst it's been for a very long time. I literally just have piles of markers, paints, acrylics, comic books, even some action figures. We still have Hellspawn here from the stream not too long ago. And this is commonly what happens. It's like you accelerate into a trip, and I keep doing so much. I keep doing so much because not only are you guys going to get pre-recorded streams, you guys are going to get videos, like pre-recorded videos. How wild is that? Isn't that nuts? The podcast, aka Pad the Film Buff, those are going to have drops. Guys, we're trying to change a couple conversations here. We're trying to, with the podcast, we're trying to working towards. And when I say we, I say the AKA Pad Army and myself. But we are working towards bringing back film criticism. And you might say to yourself, you might be like, Pete, what are you talking about? Like, there's film critics. I've seen them on YouTube. Well, that's what we're pushing against. We're pushing against these individuals that they got credibility because they had a personality to build an audience, but they're not film people. They're not true film critics. But we're trying to change that. And maybe, I don't know, maybe my personality's a little too rugged. Not quite there, not quite likable. I don't know. But it doesn't matter, right? Because I can get the same platform that those people get. So, ha ha ha. Yeah, and this is a detailed sketch. I prefer detailed sketches like this because the way that you rehearse yourself while you're working with it. So getting this to the final form, right? Like, when I redraw this, it's rehearsed to the umpteenth degree. Like, the level of focus, the level of thought that I have on it it's just going to get corrected when I do my like re-pencil, almost like when I get this back into the penciling stage. And for the record, aka Powders, I'm okay with this character. Yeah, I was there when Big Boa was dropped. Like I remember seeing well, I don't remember like seeing him. Who knows? Like my father could have come home with him because my father would come home with GI Joes, and because he just like he enjoyed the toy line because he was a military guy, and he knows like that I like the like him being military, and he wasn't like military career. Like he was drafted, so he was part hippie when it comes to his view on that. But he still identified with it. Like he really big on military history, like all that stuff, right? Which is common. Like you'll find a lot of people that go through the military, what they do in their leisure time. A lot of it is they continue the physical part. They continue the history and the pursuit of knowledge part. But G.I. Joe was kind of like this bridge. But he knows I really enjoyed the cartoon. I was getting into comics, so he fostered it. Like he would just come home with some of these, like there was like new figures. He would just come home with them. And for Christmas, right? Like we always get the new figures, always get the new vehicles for Christmas. And amongst my peer group growing up, I guess I was like labeled, my sister too. Like we were labeled as spoiled kids. But looking back, I don't know. I mean, I learned to be generous with individuals, generous even with my time, because of that. So there. There. People have benefited from me getting spoiled. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think if you have the ability to spoil your child, just do it. Like but it didn't last. It was really through my youth, because by the time like it came down to like getting a car, going to college, like no help at all. So wasn't totally spoiled. I have friends from the same neighborhood. Their parents paid for their school and got them a car. Like I did not have, and maybe too, I was a little too resistant to that stuff. Even now, I just hate things. Like I hate when people give me stuff. I don't know if you're like that. I don't want to say it's a pet peeve, but I'd just rather buy it for me. But it doesn't mean I'm not like grateful for gifts and things like that, because I am. You have to be. Bingo bango. See, like even here, like the elbow area, it totally broken, totally messed up. And sometimes when you engage in a like detailed sketch like this, and we're calling it detailed because we're spending time on it. When you engage, that's your practice. Like this is the practice. This isn't final production. So you get to kind of just play with ideas and techniques and just a way to interpret your own pencils, stuff like that. Because here too, I'm trying to see maybe like a little bit of this deltoid here. Like, what are we doing? I'm just trying. Yeah, sorry, AK powers. We're just trying to figure this out. Not crazy about that. Sorry. I'll say this. Doing this while chatting with all of you does make the time go by way quicker. Yeah, so we're testing out the camera. While this is playing back, I will actually tune in live to my own stream to check the audio. So I have to figure out a little bit of these spikes here, right? Because I think I lost a chance to do this one. Right, because we'll have one there. Like, I can do these real quick. Let's see. What do we have here? Pencil. We need a pencil. Here we go. We'll white some of this out. No big deal. And this is where too, where again, like the sketch pays off, because when you redraw it, you can correct what these yeah, like just what these spikes, just how they're incorrect. Hey, bud. But sorry, everyone. Dal Pal is sorry. I had to check my phone there real quick. Dal was cruising on some of the endless piles of comics and papers that are behind me. I try and do like a regular, like straight, like keep things straight, like a straightening up. Not so much spring cleaning for the production room, as we call it. But it's crazy, like, cause I go through so many comics, and I'm kind of known for making a stack of comics to explain some of the ideas in these videos I make. That I mean, you are quickly going through stacks, and you're organizing, reorganizing, making a pile, putting a pile away. But as soon as you put one pile away, one of them grows in this place. It's insanity. and I will do this for as long as I can. You know, we are in the middle, not in the middle, but in the beginning of the business day. I normally get calls from like early anyway, but you know, I can, I can just kind of have to go. I like this, like kind of this opportunity, we'll call it, where it's just like a it's a gloved fist just with spikes, with a ball of spikes behind it. I love it. some of that straight up 90s cross hatching, right? So much of this really comes down to, like, what are we doing about this leg? I want to say like that. That should be the leg. We can kind of, let's just do it. We'll see if we can get away with it. I can't believe this still took another 30 minutes, right? Like 34 minutes we're already in on this. That's wild. I thought we were going to be done in about 10, 15. I work with a guy, like pretty much like my, we'll call him like my IT mentor. And he's just notorious for giving these like unrealistic time frames. But a lot of the times it's just like, there's just opportunities to work on things, and some of it is just based on a bit like availability alone. And it didn't take me too long to catch it, but he would kind of be like, "Oh, this should take only 15 minutes. This should take only 20 minutes." And you quickly realize you're like, this is hogwash. Like there is no way, right? Because like sometimes like these individuals, like we'll call them like admins or just people on the other line. They're not pervy to everything. So there's a lot of factors. You can't report them back. But when someone says like 15 minutes, they could mean like I have a 15-minute window until I get another call or I have to pick up the phone for someone. So this needs, like, we need movement on this now. Like, right, like, and that's kind of like coded. But that's a lot of, like kind of working in a high velocity, as I like to call it, IT environment. High velocity. I think that's a good way of describing my 9 to 5. Yeah, I don't know. This leg is tough, aka Patters. Because like the idea too was to maybe like swing it back here, but I don't know. I mean, again, this is a sketch. We don't have to love it, but we have to live with it. The coloring idea, and it's really, I have it right here. I kind of just wanted to do it but it's like red lens, like lens flare, lens pop, as I like to call it. And then all of these opportunities here where you see this double and triple lighting, all red, like just red highlights everywhere. I think would look beyond cool, beyond cool. We would clean some of that up too with the pen. We'll sign this. Not too bad for a hobbyist, right? Goes to show you, you can achieve anything you want to achieve in this world. So I've been kind of getting back, trying to experiment with whiteout techniques. I normally use these pestos just because they're thick enough. You know, like you get kind of like a result relatively quick and easy. I usually need it for like speckling, or if I have to halo something. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that term. I kind of use that term a lot. Shaving off edges. Like, and by edges, I mean, you know, like a little bit of a line that just might run into the wrong direction. You know, we can get like some little bit more action with the veins, like going into the cross hatching, going into some of the line work. Again, like these are the opportunities. You bake it into the dough. You make those opportunities for yourself. Sorry, I'm just like blacking out working on some of these subtleties. I know a lot of you are like, just speckle it, like just use a toothbrush or kind of just like find a way to flick that white. But I don't know, like there's something for it not being random that gives it a little bit more purpose, like really more purposeful character. Guys, holy crap. All right, well, we're done this to a point. I may scan it in just to back it up as a black and white and then come back and color it. And we're not even to the final yet. We're just figuring this guy out. We're still sketching him. And look, even here, look, I can't even talk to you without, or wrap it up without doing some of these extra lines. All right, AKA Patters. Guys, happy Saturday. Sorry I can't be with you, but I may be in the, I could have been in the chat. I don't know. Thanks for hanging out.